The following cartoon will air as part of Just Yabba Dabba Do It, the Cartoon Network's commitment to cable in the classroom. The Cartoon Network presents The Making of Moxy.
The Cartoon Network was ready to have a host. We wanted to have some sort of character who could do funny shtick in between cartoons, read viewer mail, really help create that feeling of a toon universe. We also thought it'd be great if we could get a host who could appear live at cable conventions and special programming events. The problem arose, obviously, when we realized that for the Cartoon Network, we were going to need a cartoon host.
The challenge was to combine the spontaneity of a human
Time wounds all heal.
with the sensibility of a cartoon.
Well, fancy meeting you here.
Traditional animation is very time-consuming and costly. Even computer animation is a slow process and doesn't allow for a character to be live.
As we were grappling with this problem, we became aware of some new technology that was in development at Colossal Pictures in San Francisco.
He's going to be toggling next to me.
Well, Colossal has been working for some time on merging conventional animation with real-time applications in new media. And when the Cartoon Network came to us with this opportunity, it seemed like the perfect setting to realize that goal.
Easier for
We wanted to work with Colossal not only because they were pushing the boundaries of this new technology, but also because we knew them to be a company that's based in traditional cell animation, and they also had experience with character development. After all, I don't really think computers create personalities, people do.
And so the process of bringing Moxy to life began. From the start, it was obvious that the project would involve the marriage of traditional creativity and brand new technology. Like the development of any character, the first step was the most basic. We asked, who is he?
Moxy is a cartoon character who works here at the Cartoon Network. He actually wanted his own show, but we just felt he didn't have enough experience for that.
I guess he tried to be a star, he wanted to be Fred Flintstone or Yogi, and he just didn't make that cut.
The truth is, the only job we found him suitable for was a janitor at the network.
So we've installed him in a janitor's closet down the hallway.
And he's just assembled this studio out of different parts and things that he's found around, and he's now got the ability to break into the Cartoon Network feed and bring you his own little Pirate Network show.
It was Colossal's job to realize this character. The first step was to answer the question of appearance. What does he look like?
Well, it was a trial by error process. Like in all character design, we went through about 100 different characters. Until I remember one day we kind of found the one that was what he looks like now, and everyone just kind of went, that's it, that's him.
After character sketches, the next question was his environment. Where does Moxy live?
We're making a small model that's done in a really wanky, as we call it, style, which means that everything's askew and not quite right.
Yeah, wanky is the word, because we wanted to get the idea across that Moxy's making this up as he goes along, and we wanted everything in the background to kind of reflect that sort of jerry-built look.
It's naturally screwed up.
And what I like, as John says, the cartoon rule, the heavier and more dangerous the object, the higher it is on the shelf.
For Moxy's studio, a miniature set was created in forced perspective, giving it the illusion of depth. Every tiny detail was critical.
Can you see, does that bone read now through the lens? That looks great.
It's kind of a try a little Charlie Chaplin.
Once satisfied with Moxy's appearance and environment, the next big question was, what can he do? This is where technology and creativity began to drive each other. It was a process of discovery.
This is like baby's first steps.
At this point, we still don't know everything he can do, and a lot of times we'll write something and we'll say to the animators, can he do this? And they'll go, well, I don't know. Give us a day or two. And they'll come back and go, yes, he can do that, or well, he can do it, but differently. And a lot of times they'll come to us and they'll say, well, we've been playing with this. Take a look at this, and all of a sudden we'll go, wow, that's an entire piece right there. Like we did one where he swallows a fly, and that was done solely because we were watching Mark play with the character, and he tethered the arms and legs and the head, and he just started moving the body around. And somebody said, oh, that looks like he swallowed a fly. And so that became the fly piece.
In a way, there is sort of an element of a birth involved here, and it is based on technology.
Since this was all pioneering technology, Colossal had to create the animation system and the software to go with it. The process is actually a high-tech form of puppetry. This allows Moxy to move in a more human way.
What we're doing here is we're building the character in the computer, and then we're attaching control devices to a performer to drive the character in real time, to puppet Moxy. In traditional animation, one observes motion and then draws to create the illusion of life. In this case, we're performing the motion, and the illusion of life comes with it. It's very exciting. As soon as we perform Moxy, Moxy is alive.
Now Moxy could move, walk, and even explode. But unfortunately, he couldn't talk. The final element, voice, would bring him to life. But finding the perfect voice and personality for a character like Moxy was a tough order.
Hello, world, and welcome to Art with Moxy. Today's lesson...
Actor-comedian Bobcat Goldthwait was the perfect mix of spontaneity, irreverence, and humor.
It's my motivation. I've been blown up.
You've been blown up.
Okay, this is 17, take 6, rolling.
Garbage? This isn't garbage. This could be the dynamite that Huckleberry Hound pulled out of his cigar.
There's a guy behind me making fun of me or something. This is really creeping me out.
Moxy is a cartoon, but he's very much alive. Creating Moxy required the merger of cartoons, computers, people, and puppeteering. The end result is something that's never existed before, the world's first live cartoon character.
Moxy is going to change the face of the Cartoon Network, but he's also going to change the face of all animation in the future. In the future, I think you can see how time animation is more developed.
Is this thing on? Is it on? Oh! Woo! Hey, hi! Shh! No one at the Cartoon Network knows that now I have my own cartoon show. Actually, I wasn't sure myself, but I think when I press this button...
Moxy will make his TV debut live as the host of the Great International Tune-In, Friday, November 26th, on the Cartoon Network and all domestic and international Turner Entertainment networks. He plans to pirate the airwaves weekly, starting Sunday, December 5th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the world's first Cartoon Network.
The Flintstones, the Jetsons, and Scooby-Doo, all Hall of Famers in the world of cartoon animation, and all the creation of Hanna-Barbera Studios. But thanks to some young blood, Hanna-Barbera isn't just coasting on its stable of cartoon classics. Newsroom's Lisa Bacon has the story in her series, Moving Pictures.
Bill Hanna and Joe Barbera started producing cartoons together over 50 years ago.
In 1938 is when Joe and I had met him before. And Joe said, why don't we direct our own picture?
So we picked a cat and a mouse. Everybody said, very unoriginal.
That was the beginning of Hanna-Barbera.
The co-founders still keep active at the studio.
This is a story idea Mr. Barbera had with Dino. And usually we have a script, a finished script, 14 pages or whatever. In this case, he just had an idea, and then we rough out the gags. He ends up like King Kong, climbing the Empire State Building.
Most of the shows are being created by fresh, new faces.
Yeah, these are the Powerpuff Girls. They're three little girls who are like in kindergarten. They fly around and save the day, beat up bad guys and stuff.
It's the story of Johnny Bravo. He is a Elvis-looking type person. Well, he talks like Elvis, looks like James Dean.
The process works like an assembly line. Producers create a rough outline of each episode on a storyboard, where they map out all the gags and action.
You're not going to be funny if you're sitting there going, okay, what's a 5-year-old going to laugh at? There's no way you can do that. The only way to do it is like, well, I think this is funny and I like it, and just take a gamble and hope that other people do. And they're like, thanks, man. He's like, one question, though.
Creators find out if their story is funny and worth producing when they pitch it. Once a script has been approved, the layout begins.
But our job is to take his story and stage it properly. And we have to be concerned about the backgrounds, too.
Then an animator takes over.
Like those flip books. You're like, doo-doo-doo, everything's moving. That's basically what I do. I draw every single one of those drawings that are in the flip book. You just draw and you film and you color and paint and put sound in it, and it's a cartoon.
Well, not quite a cartoon yet. First, a background is painted. Then, each animation frame is photocopied onto a cell. Each cell is painted and photographed.
There are 24 frames per second of film, and each frame is made up of at least one cell, which has been hand-drawn and hand-painted. When any of this is cut, a lot of work is wasted.
Still, plenty of film ends up on the cutting room floor.
The producer will come in, He will direct us what cuts to make. We'll physically take apart this film and cut it to the correct length he shows us to do.
The goal is to produce new cartoons that will entertain children and adults for generations to come. Lisa Bacon, CNN Newsroom, Los Angeles.
The Cartoon Network and Just Yabba Dabba Do It are part of Cable in the Classroom, a service of the cable industry and your local cable company.